Hello. We're back at the Socialist Workers' Party shindig on the 16th of the 11th, 23. This was uploaded. This is one of the speakers. She organises protests at a university level.
Speaker is Sophia Beach. So Sophia is an anti-Zionist Jewish activist and is on the Palestine Solidarity Campaign Youth and Student Committee, and is also an organiser with Socialist Workers Student Society, who has helped coordinate some of the brilliant student walkouts on campuses across Britain. Sophia's a stalwart and really excited to invite her to speak.
Thank you everyone. Wow. Third time lucky. It's been amazing actually having to give a speech in an overflow room here, and I don't know if it's been announced, but there's about 300 people stood in the dark outside. It actually feels like a demonstration. I think we should bring that demo in here a little bit and do some chanting. So free Palestine! Free Palestine! On Marimba to the sea! Palestine will be free! I'm sure we'll be doing much more of that as we already have been. I don't think I need to talk about the atrocities that have been taking place in Palestine since the 7th of October. There's a reason why we're all here in this room. I'm sure we're all as outraged and angry at the acts that the murderous apartheid terror state of Israel is committing. I just want to start by saying that as a Jewish person whose family was held in the Warsaw Ghetto, whose great-grandmother and great-aunt were murdered in the Nazi death camp of Treblinka, whose other family members' fate is still unknown, and whose grandfather was the sole survivor of his entire bloodline when he was liberated from Theresienstadt, I want to say that the actions of the Israeli state are not in my name. A single aim or a single piece of the ideology of Zionism or the state of Israel that represents me as a Jewish person, and definitely not me as a socialist. This ain't a conflict, it's not a war, this is settler colonialism, it's a genocide, and it is apartheid. Samir might mention I help organise student groups in universities. We do quite a lot of meetings on campuses and so on. Often when we have those meetings, the bureaucracy of the university, they tell us, look, this is a sensitive issue. You've got to make sure that both sides are represented in your arguments. Do you know what we tell them? We go, yeah, you're right. There are two sides. There are two sides. There's the side of the oppressed and the side of the oppressor. And I know which one I will always stand with. And shame on anyone who can stand with such a regime. It is laughable, really, if anyone wants to try and say what the state of Israel does is self-defense. It's never been self-defense. They've always been the aggressors. They are the real terrorists in this situation. As people have said, this is the second Nakba that is ongoing. 1.5 million people who have been displaced in Gaza. But, you know, you can call out the Israeli state for what it is. They say that this is just simply about eradicating Hamas. If so, then why are hundreds of people being murdered in the West Bank? Why are settler colonisers and settlers, illegal settlers by the way, forcing people out of their homes in other parts of Palestine? Why? Because there's no Hamas there, so I think we have to call it out. But the truth of the matter is, the first Nakba of 1948 never ended. It's been going on every single day for the Palestinians, and that is why Palestinians are right to resist Israeli apartheid by whatever forms they choose. Whatever form. And I will always stand with them. What is it that we want to see? What is it that we want to see? People are right, we want to see an end to the bombs, I want to see an end to the blockades, I want to see an end to the brutality of Israel, but actually I want to see the Palestinians win. I want to see victory. What does that look like? What does that look like? Don't we go to like two states, I'll tell you that for sure. What victory looks like is a single, secular, democratic state that offers equal rights to Jews, Muslims, Christians, aliens, Palestinians, anybody who wants to live in that land. But most importantly, any state has to give the right to return home to every single Palestinian refugee and their family who's been forced out of their homes since 1948. So how do we get there? How do we actually get what that how do we get to is that liberation? Well, the Palestinians are brave. They have never stopped resisting. They are mighty and they are inspirational. They have never submitted to Israeli apartheid. But we know actually what has the last 75 years taught us. You cannot bargain with a colonialist. You cannot reason with somebody who thinks that genocide and apartheid are their rights, their God-given birthright. Because this is what the states really want us to do. You know, when people talk about like democratic peace processes, going to the peace table, what are they really asking of the Palestinians? They're asking Palestinians to go into a room with a person who's stolen their home, murdered their family, cut off their water and electricity supply, bombed their hospitals, murdered their children. Shame! If I was a Palestinian, I wouldn't fucking do that. How dare they ask somebody to do such a thing? How could you reason to say that? So what we know is that Palestinian liberation and free Palestine, it ain't gonna come from the top. Liberation has never been handed to us on a plate. Justice has never just given to you top down. Look throughout history, anti-colonial struggles, every time we've always had to fight for the rights that we've been given, and that's why we have to stand up with the Palestinians who fight now. We can't rely on imperialist and colonialist states who won't even dare to recognise that Palestinians exist. How will they ever be able to afford them their liberation? And look, the thing is, Palestinians have tried every single other avenue, haven't they, to their expense. They tried the peace process. 1993, the Oslo Accords. Who fucked that up? It was the Israelis. They tore it up as soon as they got the chance. They tore up that peace deal. They tried peaceful protests. People may remember the Day of Return marches that took place 2019, 2020, 2021, when peaceful protesters in Gaza marched up to Gaza's borders. What happened? The Israeli Defense Forces shot them. Children, women, elderly people, they were just protesting. They tried appealing to the international community, the United Nations, the boycott, divestments and sanctions movements. Not diminishing these things, by the way, they're good things, but they haven't won. The only option left for the Palestinians is armed resistance, and I think they're right to be fighting against it in that way. Because we know liberation ain't going to come from the Israelis. It's definitely not going to come from the Israelis. But also, it's not going to come from the neighbouring regimes who do deal after deal with the apartheid state of Israel. The Saudis, the King of Jordan, El-Sisi in Egypt, they work with the Israelis. And that's why, because what is this fight really about? Yes, it's about apartheid. Yes, it's about racism. Yes, it's actually just about common human decency, but this is also a fight against imperialism. That is why Israel is backed to the hilt by the US, by Britain. That is why, they act as a watchdog state for Western imperialism within the region. That's why it's important, why we have to fight here. So look, of course it's right when we make our demands about a ceasefire, when we try and put pressure on the top. But where should our focus really be? It's in the streets. That is where the struggle is. That is where we can get real change. It's important. That's why we're here today. We're here to organise, aren't we? And we want to be standing and focusing with the millions of people worldwide who have come out day after day to stand for a free Palestine. Most importantly, the people who are protesting in the Middle East. These protests are of huge significance. As I said, the ruling classes of the neighbouring regions, they pay lip service to the Palestinians, but really, they want a piece of the imperialist pie. They want their ranking in the pecking order of imperialism that exists within the Middle East, but not the ordinary people of Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, Algeria, Tunisia, so on. They know that the question of Palestine runs through their veins. It always has done. It is always on their minds. We have seen some of the biggest protests in the Middle East since the amazing revolutions of the Arab Spring in 2011 that were able to topple dictators. That is the kind of movement that can bring about a free Palestine. The mass revolts of ordinary people. That is how we not only take on the Israeli terror state, but all of the regimes that prop up Israel. That is why what we do here in Britain matters. Sorry, are you telling me to sum up?
Go on.
So look, that is why what we do here in Britain matters today. It's why it's important that we're here fighting. Other people have already spoken about the amazing protests that we've seen here in Britain. Every single week we have gotten bigger. As Shelley said at the beginning, it's almost like every single night there's something going on in London, and I think that's why I'm really excited for us, obviously, to go and organise in each of our in each of our sort of workplaces, universities, and in our local areas, because you know, we've come out bigger and better and stronger and louder every single week, despite every attempt to silence us. People would have already said it tonight, unfortunately. Well, you know, it's a blessing to be so big. I haven't actually heard what any of the other speakers have said tonight, so who knows, I might be repeating things, but I think it's a message worth repeating, because they tried to stop us waving our flags. Obviously, as Shelley said, we waved them higher. They tried to stop us chanting, we did it louder. They tried to use the police to intimidate us. They tried to ban our protests. We came out bigger and stronger. And actually, really, what have they achieved? What have the Tories and the ruling class really achieved? Not very much. It seems like they're on the back foot a little bit at the moment. It's just failures on their side. It's embarrassing what the government have done today, to be honest. This is embarrassing. Look, I got to say, thank you, Suella. Thank you, Suella. It was the best parting gift you could have given us to go on about the hate marches and to talk about how trying to ban the demo. It was the best publicity we could have fucking dreamed of. No wonder it was so big, because there's not a single person in Britain who didn't know that that demonstration was taking place on Saturday. Thank you. Thank you for that. Despite all our efforts, she failed. Look, as it stands, it feels like they're on the back foot, doesn't it? I reckon Palestine movement 1, Suella Braverman nil, good. But look, we can't stop there. I think now is the time, obviously, tonight to get organised and for us to think about how we can actually take the fight against the entire regime and all of the states that stand alongside Israel. What we do in our schools, in our colleges, campuses, workplaces, all of it matters. Because look, the news today about Suella Braverman, that made me happy, but it didn't make me content. I'm not content with just one Tory getting sacked. I want to see them all go, all of them. Rishi gone, James Cleverly gone, Jeremy Hunt gone, David Cameron. That was a surprise today. Cameron, the comeback kid. Look, he's only just come back in today. I would have seen him gone tomorrow. That'd be good. I think it's important though as well. This ain't just about the Tories. As people, I'm sure, have said, shame on Keir Starmer. I want him gone too. I want him gone. He does not represent a single person in my generation. You ask any person. I was proud. My first voting, I was first able to vote in the 2015 general election. I voted for, 2017. I might get my dates mixed up. 2017 general election. I was happy to walk into the ballot box and I voted for Jeremy Corbyn.
Yay.
I do not know a single person my age who's excited to vote for Sir Keir Starmer. Not a single one of us. So I want him gone. Shame on David Lammy.
Yes.
Shame on Angela Rayner. The whole party's rotten.
Yes.
It don't represent our movement. Shame on all of them. It's actually utter cowardice that they won't even call for a ceasefire. Cowardice. But I want, as I said, more than a ceasefire. I think why has that become such a popular slogan? Really what we mean by a ceasefire is that we want Israel to stop bombing Gaza. That's what it is. It's not really about one of those sort of, political, democratic ceasefires where people have to come to the table and broker a deal. No, I just want to see the bombs end. Stop murdering children and innocent civilians. But like I said, art of cowardice. And look, whilst we're at it, I think we should call out the whole British state. Fuck the police, they're never going to intimidate us. We will come out and protest right now. And also, shame on the media. Shame on the media. I'm sorry, but the BBC, are they mad? 300,000 people on Saturday. Sorry, I have to call it, it's bullshit. Bollocks. There's at least 800,000 people, if not a million. What we have to do is next time, that demo has to be so big that they don't even dream of trying to lie about the numbers because they wouldn't get away with it. So look, just to finish with really, I'm really glad to be here today. I'm excited to get into our organising breakout rooms. I think it's important to say as well, talking about the Labour Party, it's not just the Tories who are scraping the barrel when it comes to ex-Prime Ministers. People would have heard that Benjamin Netanyahu is thinking about getting Tony Blair's assistance for humanitarian role in Gaza. Now, I'll tell you something about Tony Blair. The man doesn't know the meaning of humanitarian. He hasn't got an ounce of humanity in him. He is. That's the man who knows the thing was true about murdering innocent He's a war criminal. He should be jailed along with Netanyahu and anybody else who lines up with them. So look, we don't need the leaders. We don't want the leaders. Our movement is in the streets. I just want to finish with really saying we have to call out every single politician, anyone who's complicit and stands with the Israeli state. We want to see an end to the apartheid state of Israel, victory to the Palestinian resistance, and actually a free Palestine from the River Jordan to the Mediterranean.
See you, bye.